Welcome to the last daily show of the current series. We'd planned 5 shows originally, and this is our 32nd. So like all good things, they have to come to an end and evolve. And from the 9th of June, we'll be replacing the daily with KitPlus TV.
Absolutely. KitPlus TV will be a weekly show around 30 minutes based around the popular KitPlus magazine format, with an extra host joining us in the studio for an in-depth discussion with someone in the news, our popular TV Futures student section, and many more guests on each and every show.
It's certainly going to be a fast-paced show, and we'll create a short overview video of the weekly that you'll be able to see very soon. Until then, though, we have today's special guest waiting for us, and we'll be with them right after the news.
And first up in the news, Tokina has announced the new 25 to 75mm t2.9 zoom lens that matches the company's 11 to 20mm and 50 to 135mm lenses. The 25 to 75mm t2.9 is designed to cover super 35mm type sensors that have up to 36mm image circle size. The larger 36mm image circle enables native coverage of popular cinema and mirrorless cameras from Arri, Red, Canon, Blackmagic Design and Panasonic in 4K DCI or 4K UHD.
Now, Brainstorm has introduced a major upgrade to its InfinitySet virtual studio and AR system. InfinitySet 4 includes several unique features designed to enhance content creation and output, and offers tighter integration and control of Unreal Engine. With advanced features such as simultaneous renders, multiple outputs and additional hardware support for Unreal Engine workflows, new in InfinitySet 4 is Layers, which allows users to create simultaneous multiple independent renders using a single workstation. With Layers, InfinitySet 4 can now deliver several outputs from a single instance or combine several outputs in a single one as required.
And finally, robotics and camera control systems specialist Telemetrics has partnered with Zero Density, makers of virtual set and augmented reality systems, to enhance real-time visual effects. Their combined technologies are providing a good foundation for at-home productions and studios operating remotely. One example of the collaboration is at Stream Team Nordic Oy, one of the largest technical TV production companies in the Nordic countries. They are now making previously unavailable player interviews and multi-layered graphical elements come alive in virtual reality, on set in real time for viewers at home.
And now the part of the show where we thank Media Proxy for their support, especially over the last month of the daily. As you may already know, Media Proxy is the global leader for all things compliance. With over 20 years in the business and over 15,000 channels deployed in over 60 countries, they are the trusted partner in the industry for logging, monitoring and analysis of linear broadcast and OTT.
What you may not have known is that LogPlayer is the most advanced multi-panel HTML5 user interface supported across all desktop and mobile web browsers. It has a powerful toolset for quickly turning around clips to publish directly and easily to social media platforms like Facebook, YouTube, Twitter and many more.
And what you will know by now is that if you're looking to replace your Volucon system, team up with the global leader in compliance. For more information, please check out their website on screen now. And now it's time for our special guest. So, welcome Lewis from Cinegy. Thank you for joining us. It's great to have you with us on our final show. So Lewis, we normally catch up at a trade show, whether it's NAB or IBC, which unfortunately we're not able to do this year. But tell us, what sort of cool stuff have you been up to lately, especially around lockdown?
Yeah, well, I mean, lately, because we've all been on lockdown, we've had Simon from our professional services department providing like on internal webinars in the morning of how to do French polishing, which has been really quite informative. It's easier than we realized as well. So that's useful. I'm not ready to pass on any tips for how to lay paving though, because it's not gone well. I can tell you that.
So you're digressing slightly.
You mean professionally?
Yeah. Professionally. Let's go professionally, shall we?
Please. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, we've been through a couple of distinct phases of what's happened since the pandemic was declared, which was the everyone shifting to working from home, where I'm joining you from now, and everyone kind of implementing their business continuity plans and preparing for business as usual. And obviously there was actually an almost blessed period of quiet for me where everyone kind of left me alone for 2 weeks, which was just tremendous. And my email box died right down while everyone kind of went into this caring about themselves, getting themselves sorted and safe and secure, and getting their businesses operating in the different circumstances. And then has come the other shoe dropped, and it's all caught back up with me, with everyone now wanting to do like more things, kick off projects, things that would actually be a little bit easier if we could just go to a customer site and do some whiteboarding, now have to be carried out remotely. Deployments need to be carried out. So it's gotten quite busy again now. And all that time I thought I might have available through not having to do NAB prep or going to NAB seems to have just gone up in smoke and been eaten by customers busy getting stuff done. So it's been interesting number of weeks so far, and interesting challenges.
So we've seen you've been quite active in the SRT area right now. Tell us a bit more about that.
So SRT has it really is a technology for the age. So for those that don't know about SRT, it's an acronym, as all the greatest things in broadcasting are, standing for Secure Reliable Transport. So it has two particular strengths that are very useful right now. The secure aspect, so you can use it to encrypt with AES 256 encryption streams of audio and video, which is obviously very important, especially with workforces in distributed places needing to get circuits that were secure because they were behind a locked cabinet before, but now need to make it to somebody's house. And then reliable being the other critical aspect of this technology. So when people perhaps need to operate a channel from home, they need a reliable stream to give them confidence that what they think they've put on air really is running on air. Or if they're contributing a circuit up, they need to be confident that that is there. Or as in the case that we found where people need to carry on doing deployments and putting things out there, maybe they're commissioning things in a data center they've never been to, running over the internet. So SRT provides that bridging technology. What was actually scheduled long before the events, but carried on quite untouched by the current global pandemic, was the second SRT Interop Plugfest. So this was a couple of weeks ago now, hosted by Haivision, where it was 3 days of vendors coming together, sharing a Google Docs spreadsheet, and actually I think it's a Microsoft Office spreadsheet, thinking about it actually, so I should probably credit the right people. So sharing that spreadsheet and then listing out, providing streams for people to consume, or providing targets we've got upload to, and producing some really useful testing of what vendors' products have been tested against what other vendors' products, just to prove that this technology is open and able to interoperate. That's come at a very good time for vendors to be able to actually have comfort that these things can all talk to each other. So
Lewis, there's an SRT Alliance, obviously made up of numerous companies, as well as Cinegy, obviously. Can you just go into a little bit of detail about the breadth of those companies making up the Alliance and what they sort of bring to the party?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I have a feeling it hit 450 Alliance members just recently, which is obviously a huge number in this industry in particular, where that's got to be a decent proportion of the available organizations to join have joined. I mean, obviously the best call out goes to Haivision and Wowzer as the two founding members of the SRT Alliance. And then there were early adopters such as Cinegy that joined in kind of the first wave of people coming in. And then that brought some other really impressive names to the group as well. So Microsoft are actually formal partners of that now. Other companies that are going to be well recognized by this industry are companies like Avid. I know the Avid guys have been integrating this technology straight into their news production tools. So, I mean, it's reached the point now where such a huge number of companies are involved that, it's almost easier to express who's not in it. I mean, the guys at Tektronix have got some great probes in there. Just thinking of people I was engaging with recently on the Plugfest. I mean, it's such a broad depth of people. It's really exciting. So I mean, I've come across customers just wanting to. One example is a customer had some Atemi encoders, and they were talking about SRT, and I just went, well, hold on, let's have a look. Oh, they're in the Alliance. Oh, their latest firmware supports SRT. So those are the kind of experiences we've been going through. I don't think I've actually come across a company yet where I've thought, gosh, it'd be nice if they did SRT, and they didn't. So it's really becoming quite all over.
So with all this large number of manufacturers involved, is it fair to say that you've seen a difference in the way in which broadcasters are working? Has that been apparent during the COVID-19 pandemic?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, first of all, there was kind of a lull while everyone went into full panic mode, and then shortly after that, a lot of people went, I knew we should have brought that disaster recovery plan further up the agenda. And now we're solidly into the implementing things, but having a set of constraints that no one can avoid to work with. So one of the things we've seen is that this has been a big push towards not just letting people culturally work from home, but also dealing with the big benefit that using cloud computing can bring, which is finally accepting the fact that you don't need to touch the kit that the back end of all this stuff runs on. So we've seen a lot more customers now actually accepting and getting on board with the fact that they can and should use distributed platforms where they can, because when they can't get staff in to change broken equipment inside a traditional plant environment, being able to actually spin up a new virtual machine is a huge benefit. So we've had customer projects that were cloud-based going into this that have actually been able to carry on delivering very little disruption caused by the lockdown and the fact that everyone was on work from home limits. They can carry on because the cloud has still been there. So we've seen people both appreciating that when they had that in flight, or actually looking more significantly at how to move into that world and how to move their operations into that model more aggressively. And that's been a lot of fun to kind of ride along with those customers and help them down that learning journey, and try and actually serve them and hopefully make them happy customers.
Yeah, is it fair to say that what this has done, so remote production was all a bit of a big buzzword on the lead up to this. Now we've got this thing called remote working, as in the work from home, and that will build in, with everything they're implementing now, that will build in some pretty strong resilience for anything that happens in the future.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where a lot of people were, even something as simple as working from home, a lot of people weren't ready to take that cultural step until forced. And I think what will come out the back of this is a lot of people will get to the end of this whole process and say, well, actually, this just worked for 6 months. There's no need for them to have yet another proof of concept that the cloud can do this. It just did. And so that kind of necessity is the mother of invention has kicked in. And I've seen that reflected in industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's fantastic, Lewis. Thank you for coming in. Hopefully, we'll be seeing you at a show of some description in the future. Sadly, not in 2020. Thanks for coming in, and we'll catch up soon, we hope.
Yeah, no, thank you, guys.
So at this point, we have to thank many people for helping us bring the daily to you. That's the 32 guests that have come on the show each day.
And of course, our kit partners, and to Media Proxy for their support.
We'll see you next time on the KitPlus TV Weekly Show. And thank you all for your comments and suggestions over the last month. Thanks for watching on this, and we'll see you next week.